morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Great. So, Lia, I'm pretty excited that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for a living?
What do I do? Well, I'm an English second language teacher, and I teach primary school. But I've taught at the beginning of my career. I taught adults. I taught at a place called Berlitz, and now it's kids for the last 30 plus years.
Wow.
Quite
30 years. Right. And don't you teach isn't it French immersion?
It's
not?
English intensive. It's not immersion because in Quebec, because of Bill 101, you can't teach academic subjects in English in a French school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can only,
Okay.
you can do French immersion in an English school. You can teach anything you want in French,
Okay.
but in English, you can only teach English.
And so, how did you become a teacher? Were you, as a kid, thinking, I know exactly what I want to do.
No.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
My parents were both professors, and I always said, oh, never,
Oh, really?
never, ever.
Okay.
Because I lived through all of their drama and everything when they were teaching.
Okay.
But, I went off for a year and was a volunteer, and I taught. And
What, you volunteered as a teacher
I
for a
volunteered
year?
as a teacher for a year.
Where did you do that?
I did that in the Middle East.
Okay.
And
And so you started out, though, teaching adults. You weren't
Yes.
in schools in
I
the
started
beginning.
teaching adults, private language school, Berlitz, Commission Scolaire de Montréal, night school, different things,
Right.
until I finally got a contract.
What's your favorite part of being a teacher?
Well, it's to see the kids learn and to see them, all of a sudden, well, especially for me, because they're learning a second language, and some of them, I've had students with like 0 level when they come to me in grade 6.
Right.
And so it's kind of when you see them already, they start putting, sentences together and telling you about their weekend in English or telling you something, and it's like, wow, can you imagine, like a couple of weeks ago, you weren't even able to put 2 words together. So
Right.
it's
right.
quite a, when you see their eyes and like, oh my goodness, I did that, or I said that, or, I'm able to do that. But
Right. And so the other side of that is,
Yeah.
what's the thing that's been the biggest challenge?
motivation. So many kids these days are just, they don't like school. That motivation, and sometimes, parents are busy or have time for their kids to see what they're doing in school, and you have to, even when they're in CEGEP, you have to check what they're, you don't have to sit next to them, but
Right.
you have to ask them, what are you doing? Can I help you? Can you tell me something, what you have to do?
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about what your
you
day
did,
was like.
Exactly. What
Yeah.
did you learn? Is there something, I would be interested in knowing about?
Right. So you think even at the CEGEP level, the parents
Oh,
should be
yeah.
involved
Yeah.
and checking up on that kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow.
And it's not just checking to make sure they're doing their work or whatever. It's to show that you're interested in what they're doing.
And so is that something that you see a lot? Is that you'd like to see parents more involved in?
Yes,
Oh, really?
for sure.
Yeah.
More involved, but not involved like being, like a hovering.
Or doing the homework
doing
for
for the
them.
homework for them, but
That wouldn't be right.
No.
Right. So involved, but obviously not doing the stuff
No,
for them.
no.
And not necessarily reviewing it either. Do you need to review it and then tell your kid, oh, you need to do this part over again? Or should you leave that?
No, you should leave that. That's the teacher's job.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
teacher's job. It doesn't have to be perfect, because they're not going to learn if everything's always perfect because you have told them, well, but
you need to fix this one.
yeah, you have to fix this. But
And what do you think has changed the most since you went to school, for example? What has changed in either the school system or perhaps, I'm sure behavior has changed. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm under the impression that some kids are just out of control.
Oh yeah, well, when we went to school, everything the teacher said, the parents said, well, you heard what they said, you're in trouble, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And now the
Like
teachers,
I used to do with my kids.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And now the parents are always questioning the teacher. Are you sure? And are you?
Yeah.
I don't agree with this. And it's like, whoa, we were spending the whole day with them. We're spending 5 days a week. They spend more time at school than they do at home. It is.
Yeah. And do you find that there's a difference between teaching boys and teaching girls?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I have a lot more boys in my class than girls,
Yeah.
the girls are kind of in the background. They kind of don't assert themselves.
Right.
So you have to, it's hard because you have to kind of cater to those guys. And they're very active, so you have to be moving things along faster, and that doesn't always help, because they have a different way of learning.
So you're saying that you kind of adjust the speed or the tempo in the class to the boys more than to the girls?
Yes, when I have a majority of boys.
Okay.
In the last few years, it's been the case. There seems
really?
to be a boom in boys being
born
or something.
I read an article recently where the person was talking about the way girls and boys perform at school.
Okay.
And what she was saying in the article was that girls tend to be focused on developing their competencies at school, whereas boys get the opportunity to develop their confidence. And that's because girls are really fixated on being perfect or doing things. They go a little overboard.
Yeah.
They'll do a test and they study and study and study, and then they study some more, or they do a paper and they hand in more than was required. And when they get the A, they're kind of going, I could have gotten an A plus.
Yeah.
And what the article was saying was that boys tend to kind of get by doing the bare minimum, and when they get a B plus, they're like, yay, me. I'm fantastic. And so what they said, what she was saying in the article is that boys get to develop that sense of self-confidence much more than the girls do, because the girls are just falling back on their competencies, where boys are going, you see, I did it for myself.
Yeah.
I did it on my own. I managed to get that B without really too much effort. So it's in me. And so they get to kind of develop their confidence, and girls don't get that. The other thing that was related to that article about the boys being able to develop confidence and the girls being able to, are mostly relying on competencies, was that it's reflected then on the job market to some extent.
Yeah.
So because boys get to develop their self-confidence more than girls do, within that context at least, it ends up being that when they go out on the job market, it's reflected to some extent in the jobs that guys get rather than girls, right?
Yeah.
And I see that from my perspective as a career coach, in that the women, for example, looking at a job description, are going to say, I've got 8 out of 10 of the requirements. I'm not going to apply.
Oh, yeah.
The guys are going to look at that same job description and say, I got 50%. I'm going to go for it.
Oh, yeah.
And they
That's
often
true.
get the job.
That's true.
They often get the job.
Yeah.
So that self-confidence kind of outweighs the competencies, I think, because you can be really, because those guys are not better than those women. They're just, they're taking the risk. They're willing to take the risk and it usually works out. Really. Right. And what do you think about all the medications and the Ritalin and those kind of things? That's pretty new as well. It seems to be a lot of kids anyways that need medication to make it through school.
A lot, but I'm wondering, it's also all these kids that have allergies, all these kids that have, we have 6-7-year-olds that are already diagnosed with anxiety disorders and things. Well, where is that coming from? This is because of the world that we live in. I have seen kids over the years, that have taken medication, and I've seen them before they've taken them, and it was necessary. It was necessary for that child. And you go through, it's a process. The teacher has to fill in forms. The doctor has to interview you about. It's not just like I have a bottle in my in my drawer and I give it to you.
You're not just giving out pills.
I'm
to
not just
kids.
giving out pills, which a lot of parents think that teachers have pills in their desk and they give them out.
Oh goodness.
But you know,
really?
but there's a really good book, like If My Brain Had Glasses.
Oh right.
I think it's Simon Cerveau avec des lunettes, something like that.
Yeah.
And it talks about, like me, I need glasses. If I didn't wear my glasses, I couldn't see anything. So
Right.
yes, maybe more and more kids are taking medication, but I mean, it's a really controversial
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
When you have 3 or 4 students in a classroom like that, and you don't have help
Yeah.
because there's no
Yeah.
money for help, and you're
Oh,
not,
yeah.
that's not a priority. There's other kids that are a bigger priority. While you're
Kind of at the
You're-
mercy of
those kids, and not me, the other students,
Yeah,
because
those kids
who do you
suffer.
think's getting the attention are those kids that are acting up and
Yeah. Yeah.
and when you have the hyperactivity that goes with it, as you get older, what I've seen is that their social abilities go down, so they start losing friends.
For the kids
For
that
the
are
kids that are
hyperactive or whatever.
impulsive,
Yeah.
It's
No, I
not
get
so
that.
much. It's not just the learning part; it's the social part,
Oh,
because
for
school
sure.
is there to socialize
Oh,
you
for
as well.
sure.
I always tell my
It's like almost the biggest part of it, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's socializing with other kids. That there should be emotional intelligence learning going on in
Mhm.
schools as well. Besides teaching history and teaching geography and math, I think that whole social side of it is huge, and that you take forever. The history of the world is great.
Yeah.
But learning how to be with other people and learning how to interact with others and how to create bonds and how to socialize, you're going to need that for the rest of your
Mhm.
life. It's sort of a part of what you do every day,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. We all, I
kind of a
often
social worker.
Exactly. You have to be your everything when you're a teacher. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
it has to be a passion, because otherwise, just forget it. I'm in grade 6.
Have you ever had a little boy fall in love with you?
No. No. Well, I've had.
Oh, and I fell in love with teachers.
You fell
when
in
I
love
was,
with teachers?
Yeah. Well, not a woman teacher, but I remember Mr. Derek,
Yeah.
and I was in love with him. I would have married him. I was in grade 3 at the time. You've never had that experience, like a little boy looking at you.
No, but
Oh,
it's just
Mrs. Fisher.
no. But I've had students that were quite, we were close, and they liked being in my class, and they liked,
And they were sad at the
and
end
they
of
were
the
sad
year.
at the end of the year, and
And if you had advice to give to a teacher that they're going to start their first year teaching, this is their first experience, is there something that you wish someone had told you when you first started?
well, it's okay to ask for help, because I find so many teachers, they don't want to ask for help because they're scared that they're going to be criticized for it, or
Okay.
told, you're not good. But you can't, when you're starting out, even when you're older, you always have something to learn. So you have to ask for help, and you have to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but you don't know everything, and you're never going to know. I mean, every year I'm rereading things, looking for solutions,
Yeah.
asking people, oh, what do you do? Oh, I saw you were doing this. What is this that you're doing? That's why we lose so many. We're losing a lot of young teachers. I don't know, there's like 3 out of 5 leave in their first 5 years.
Wow.
And
Really?
And it's
Ooh.
because, they feel that they're alone. But then there's the flip side, where I say they're scared to ask for help because they're scared that the boss is going to say, well, you shouldn't be able to do this. Why are you asking for help?
It was fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming along, Leah.
Oh, my pleasure.
Playing along with Stuck in Traffic.
Yeah. Hopefully it might motivate some people, good people, to come out and teach.
Yes, because we need teachers, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We're in a big funk.
Right.
Not enough people.
Yeah. Thanks.